I think we are live. Okay,
All right.
cool. So Guilherme, thank you very much. Guilherme is CEO and co-founder of Hevy. It's a workout tracker for your phone that is apparently doing very well. And I downloaded the app. I really liked it. But I have also questions to understand your journey until here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So um, basically, how did I meet Guillaume? His brother, Jaume, did the bootcamp of LeWagon here in Barcelona, last batch that finished in December. Jaume got a job as a head of SEO in a company called Kamaloon. And Jaume told me about the story of Guillaume. And then we got in touch and we made it happen. So it's super nice. So Guillaume, I was checking the app, I was checking the website and a bit like the content around it. So Hevy, workout logging made simple. This is your
Mm-hmm.
punchline.
Yeah.
And it's a free workout tracker and planner.
Yeah.
Build routines and track progress with friends.
Yeah.
So it's a social fitness app.
Yeah.
Isn't Instagram enough? How dare you?
No, definitely not. No, definitely not. It's a similar concept to Instagram. The fact that it's social and you can follow friends. But what you're posting on Instagram is photos. What you're posting on Hevy is your workouts, and you can see your progress over time. You can see what other people are working out, their routines, kind of a bit of their like secret sauce to being so fit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a similar concept, but totally different.
Got you, got you. I guess you have other trackers also available in the app stores, Google
Yeah,
Play. What is your secret sauce? What was your, competitive
yeah,
advantage?
yeah. So there's a lot of workout loggers out there, and the thing that kind of I saw was missing in all these workout loggers is the fact that they were personal workout trackers. So if you go on the App Store, you'll find 20, 30 of them. Um, and some of them are really good. The problem with that though is they're not social, and everything is kind of evolving in a social direction, and the ability to like follow your friends and the ability to kind of have a community around this like around fitness was like super interesting to me because I came from Strava. So I was doing a lot of triathlons, running, swimming, biking, and we had a really like close knit community with them. So
Mm,
every time we finished one of the workouts, like we'd go and we post a workout and we'd like compare with each other and comment on each other's workout and kind of support each other. And with a personal workout tracker, you can't do that, you
mm.
know. And you start going to the gym and like you're just there by yourself, and it's kind of lonely. So I thought it was super important to make it social, and that's kind of our differentiator.
Okay, so you have this social aspect that is, makes the whole experience
Yeah,
more attractive to people.
yeah.
Um, but at the same time, my question is, in the end of the day, these people you are, interacting with or tracking or following, are they your friends or they are part of a community and you basically maybe never met them? And what's the dynamics in the app?
Yeah, so it's a bit of both. Right now, since the app is still really, really small, we have around like 75,000 users, which is very, very tiny in comparison to these big apps.
Mm,
Um, it's very hard to have like um, all your friends on a platform. So more often than not, like people are following like one or two friends, and then if they're engaged socially, they'll see like some recommended users and see like, oh, okay, like this athlete's really interesting, or this athlete is doing some like motivational workouts or something, then I'm going to
mhm,
follow them.
mm,
So it's a mix of both. Like you follow strangers and you get
mm,
inspired and motivated, but you also follow friends and you like stay in
mhm.
touch and motivate each other.
So it basically allows you to log your workout, share your
Yeah,
workout, and track your progress. Let's say
yeah,
these are the main things you can do in the app.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And how did it start? How did you get involved in this?
Yeah, so it's what I was saying to you before, that I used to be in triathlon, so I was in Strava all the time, and
So Strava is also a workout tracker, basically.
yeah. So sorry. So Strava is basically a workout tracker, but only for cardio workouts. So
Mm.
if you've ever seen like a map and like the little
Yeah,
route
yeah, yeah.
of someone running, most
Correct.
likely it's like Strava or Nike Run Club or something like that.
Hmm.
So a couple of years ago, I started to go to the gym, and it just felt super solitary, for the story I was telling you before, how I had a team before,
Hmm.
and I was missing that experience of Strava. So I looked around, and there was a lot of personal workout trackers, and yeah, in the end, like, that was the idea, like bridge the experience from like gym tracking to having like a social experience.
Mm-hmm. But one thing is to have an idea. The other is actually getting the guts, like the, let's say,
Yeah,
the balls to move it forward, to build a business, build a product, and
yeah,
find a market fit. So, were you an entrepreneur before? It was your first
yeah,
journey.
yeah.
How you decided to actually
No,
embark into this?
I've been building and trying building like digital products for quite a while now,
Hmm.
since I was like 16. So just like building like very simple games and more elaborated like 3D games on Unity, and then I kind of made the switch to building like usable apps that are non-games. Um, so yeah, I've always been like in the back of my head, like trying to find ideas and trying to see like what could work, what can work, and yeah, I decided to team up with a friend of mine called Desmond, which is my co-founder.
Hmm.
He's the technical co-founder, so he's the CTO, and yeah, we decided to give it a go
Hmm.
and build an MVP.
And were you working at the time? Did you quit your job to that, or you were doing a bit like as
No,
a
no,
side job and then?
this was after the job. Um, but yeah, we both like recently gotten out of the job that we met at each other that we met each other at, um, and yeah, we basically like just wanted to build the MVP like as fast as possible.
Mm.
um, we just wanted to make sure that people would actually use it, because
Yeah.
we had run some surveys before, like not too many people answered them. The
Mm.
surveys were like super polarizing. Some people like hated the idea, some
Mm.
people were in love with the idea, and we're like, fuck, like what do we do? Like it's so like 50-50, like does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then we realized like surveys are good for like taking like a temperature,
Yeah.
of people, but they're not really good to really understand like user behavior. If
Okay.
you really
So,
understand
yes.
them, put something in their hands.
Okay, got you. So let's maybe think about like if you can share with us the process. So you basically had the idea, you
Yeah,
you proposed that to Desmond. So you
yeah,
say, man, I have an idea, right? You
yeah,
pitched
yeah,
it to him, and
yeah.
he fall in love immediately, or you had to convince him?
Well, he wanted to build something, so
Okay,
he wasn't really in love with the idea yet,
okay.
but he really wanted to build something. So I convinced him, and while we were building the MVP and developing the product and just
Mm-hmm.
talking and exploring the possibilities of what this could be, like then he realized the potential, then he like really fell in love with
Mm-hmm.
it, and
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you have some coding notions, if I understand well. You were saying that you did some things in Unit and.
Yeah, yeah, more or less. I mean, when around when I was 15, 16, I just started playing around with Xcode and Objective C, and yeah, just like uh, native iOS development. And the way that I've learned to code is like how Peter Level says it, is just by like brute force. So I've never actually taken the time and like properly learned to code. I've always been like, okay, I need to make this button bigger. How do I do it? I need to put this text on the screen. I need to navigate to this other screen. How do I do it? So like I've kind of managed to do what was necessary, but I've never really known like the basic fundamentals. Like I haven't learned them well, you know. So I kind of just do enough to scrape by, and
Okay.
it's definitely not how I would recommend learning to
Yeah.
code. So it's good that you guys
Definitely
are
the
doing a
hard
boot
way.
camp. Yeah, it's the hard way.
Yeah.
Yeah, much harder than usual.
And then going back to the process, you and Desmond decided to create surveys to validate the idea. What did you do? Like, how did you get potential users?
I actually I did a Google Forms survey, and I stood outside my gym. I went to the gym. I just stood outside my gym, and I just asked like everyone that came out, and probably like, I don't know, 75% of people didn't want to answer, but a few wanted to answer, and then I ended up getting like I think 15 replies on it.
Okay.
Which isn't much, you know. It's
Yeah.
nothing. If you're doing a market study, like 15 people is nothing. But it was interesting to start seeing what people thought.
And then what conclusions did you get? Because you said that 50% loved it, 50% said I would not even use it.
Yeah.
Did it make you more confused? And wasn't it like an attack into the confidence of your team to build it? How did you overcome this?
I mean, market data tends to be really confusing, and I don't know. It's data scientists are probably gonna kill me for saying this, but I feel like you should sometimes look at the data that you want to look at. You know, like if we saw that, okay, like 50% of people like didn't want to have another app on their phone to track their workouts, but a few of those people like loved the idea, then I'll stay with the people that love the idea. You know, like this isn't a product, this isn't a mass market product for everyone. It's a very niche product. I understand that tracking your workouts isn't for everyone, and carrying your phone in the gym isn't for everyone. People are really like fatigued of apps and learning new services and all that. So what I saw there was that there was like a glimmer of hope that people would be willing to use it. And I knew already from like other market research that there were successful apps on the App Store and Google Play that people were using already. So that was kind of like the best validation. I knew that people were using it worldwide, and some people in real life that I had spoken to were interested in. So.
And there is some. I think I read sometime in the past, like somebody saying it's better to have an app where a few people love it than have a mass product that people are like, yeah, it's nice, to start at least, to generate a bit the.
I think that's from Brian Chesky from Airbnb.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, that's right. And then what did you do to actually? Well, actually, I have a quote from you. I'm going to quote you from an article you wrote. You said, before I realized it, I had essentially designed a super bloated app that tried doing everything yet did nothing well.
Yeah.
So what was the process that took you to take this conclusion, and how did you solve that puzzle?
Let me show you. Actually, you disabled my screen sharing. If you can
Let
enable
me
it for me,
let me
one
enable
sec.
it. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I just have a couple of slides to share. Hold on. Yeah, so brainstorming, we did the survey. And then I started like designing this, like within all the constraints, and kind of like getting all the ideas together. And
Mm.
I started first designing it on Sketch, doing like hundreds of iterations per screen, and then like prototyping it on Marvel. Like
All right.
Figma is basically going to do both of these
Yeah.
both of these things for you.
Yeah. So Sketch, just for the people who don't know Sketch, it's basically the same thing as Figma.
Yeah, same thing.
And Marvel is the software that adds the interaction, and Figma
Yeah.
actually is doing both. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. So what I meant by having a bloated app is this kind of. I mean, um, during the like creative process, like you need to have like, or at least I do, like I have like tons of iterations per screen and like per component.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of go in like all directions, just to like not rule anything out, and just like let your imagination kind of run wild. And I wanted to do all these things, but then like you end up with a product that's doing like 600 different things. And like you tell people about your product, and you tell like exactly what it does, and they're like, wait, but it does this and this and this and this, and like they don't get it.
Yeah.
And it's not like a clean experience. It's not a great product. Great products do like one or two things extremely well, and like everything else is complementary. So
Mm-hmm.
we kind of had to like really shave it down to the MVP. Like, what are the things that we want to validate? One, people are going to track their workouts on their phone. They want to measure their progress on their phone over a long period of time, and the fact that it's social.
Mm.
So those are how we
Like
called it, our
pillars, you
three
define like
pillars.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, those are our three pillars. So we kind of like shaved it down, and decided to build the MVP that way.
Mm-hmm. And was it hard to get like to the to the funnel and leave some nice ideas behind? What was the criteria you
Yeah,
used to take this decision? Because in the end, it's all like assumptions, right? While you're doing the prototype, how did you get to this?
yeah. Well, it kind of goes back to like the three main pillars. Like if those ideas were like, if the crazy ideas weren't like super essential to that like main pillar of like, okay, people want to log workouts, like for example, groups. Do we really need to have groups in the MVP if we allow people to follow each other? That's probably a good enough
Okay.
indicator
Yeah.
that like people are willing to use a social product, and then
Mm-hmm.
groups can be an iteration like much farther into the future. We still haven't built groups to this day, so who knows when we'll build that.
Mm-hmm.
And like the good thing about that approach is that you start you always the the approach is always like build the minimum you can build, and then ship that, and as fast as you can.
Mm.
Because then based on what you ship, people are going to give you feedback, and then you'll iterate based on that feedback.
Yeah,
Otherwise you're like iterating on your own feedback, and
of
that's not how
course.
you
Yeah.
like build a good product.
And there are many things you take for granted that's obvious for you, and when you put in front of people, they don't understand the same way, right? So did you get this prototype and you showed it to people in the end of the day, and you observed they using it?
Yeah, we built the MVP in React Native. So it
Okay.
was like super
So from the
fast.
board, from Sketch, you decide, let's develop it.
Yeah, I mean, I put it on Marvel to like prototype it a bit, like just dumb prototypes,
Yeah.
but I don't know, I guess I was pretty confident with it, and like
Yeah.
with my co-founder, we like talked about it a lot and like refined it. Um, and then yeah, we built the MVP, and we put it on test flight as fast as we could, because that's when like the real feedback comes, like when
Mm.
people use it for real, not when you give them like a little prototype, and they're like, they
Of
have to
course.
pretend that they're a user, they have to pretend that they're inputting their email and doing all these actions.
But isn't it risky, like to actually
Yeah.
put the time into developing a native application to then later discover if it actually makes
Yeah,
sense?
but I mean, it's always like doing the minimum enough to validate it. Like the minimum enough to validate the just like the idea was like putting it into like a prototype in Marvel or Figma. Like we show around a couple friends, we talk about it amongst ourselves, and like, okay, that's validated. What about validating the product? Like, or validating the MVP, like, well, the minimum to validate the MVP would be building like a very minimal product, but it has to be built at some point, because otherwise you're just going off of these like fake friend opinions that are trying to help you by saying that they love the product, when in reality they're never going to use it, you know?
And do you remember exactly what was the one single feature that was present in this MVP? Like how many of these features you shipped? Maybe one, maybe it was just logging your workout. Did you have the social functionalities already? What did you decide to ship
No,
in the first version?
we had all three pillars. Like our MVP was the three pillars: tracking, progress, and social. So we shipped those three things.
All
pretty
right.
bare bones, but yeah, you
Okay.
could
So
follow
that's
friends,
not
track your
quite
workout.
like a minimum viable product.
I mean, I feel like we knew what we were doing, and we had 2 weeks that we just set aside, and we said, okay, like for these 2 weeks, it's just a hackathon. We're gonna work like nonstop, like 15-hour days, you know?
All right.
And just by the end of the 15 days, like we have to have something out. And my co-founder is a JavaScript wizard, and I also helped him out with a lot of the front end. So we moved pretty fast.
One question.
Yeah.
About the MVP. So we know it's a very good practice to go like fast and launch soon. But do you think it can be a problem sometime when like the adoption of apps, maybe people can open it, and if it's not perfect, they would close it and never go back? So how would you say the MVP should be at the same time, like maybe super minimal, but it should be perfect in a way? Or it can be maybe, what do you think about that?
I feel like people often confuse like MVPs for creating like your first product, but it being shit, you know? Like the first, whatever you create from that product, like try to scope it down to like maybe only including one feature, but that one feature, do it properly, you know? Like don't ship the whole thing and do it like half-assed. Like instead spend more time like working on that like little thing that is going to be like the main product. It's going to be like the core product experience.
It still can be quite difficult to get there because you need to do that very core feature like perfectly.
I mean, it also doesn't have to be perfect. Like what you're looking for when you launch an MVP is feedback. Like you're not looking to get your million users from your MVP, you know? Like if you put it on test flight, invite a couple people, or you first launch it on the App Store or whatever, you put it online on a website, it's most likely 99% of the time it's not going to go viral. It's not going to start getting thousands of downloads or users. So what you're looking for there is feedback. Like
you just need
make
to be live.
Yeah, just need to be live. The fact that it's live is like the most important thing, because otherwise it just always stays as a side project. You never ship it. So you just need to like get it out there, and get it out there as soon as you can, and make it as easy as possible for people to send you feedback. Like that's gonna be the most important thing. Like people always like don't talk to their users, but if your users want to talk to you and want to give you feedback on your product, that's like a gold mine, because they're literally going to be developing the product for you. Like literally for the first like 6 months to a year of Hevy, most of what we did is just like we implemented features that a lot of users asked for. Like usually you'll get feedback for like, okay, I really want this specific feature, and you think, okay, it's just going to be one user, and then another user asks for it, and then another user asks for it, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, like it's obviously like a very evident gap in the product. This is what I'm going to focus on next. You know.
Yep.
I hope I answered your question.
Sure. Thanks.
And then you basically put it available in the app stores, Google Play. Did you launch both platforms at the same time?
Yeah.
Android and iPhone. Yeah.
That took us a little longer. So it took us 2-3 months to actually have it in a state that it's like a 1.0, that it's like ready for the public.
Okay.
Even then it wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
You know, like even then there were a lot of things that
Yeah.
I look at it now and I'm like, oh my God, how did we ship that? But it was important that we made the cut, and we're like, okay, whatever doesn't get into the 1.0 doesn't matter. We'll just submit an update and it'll like keep improving over time.
Yeah.
Did you guys choose to do like a web app or native apps?
So we're actually building the web app right now. So we're building the MVP of the web app right now. But up until
I mean,
then,
the web.
was...
I didn't mean the web like a unique technology for both platforms. Like iPhone, it's responsive web.
Oh no,
you call
so
that progressive web apps maybe? Or?
No, so they're both native apps.
So you needed to develop in 2 languages.
No, because React Native is basically like this like cross-platform framework that you basically can share like, I don't know, like 95% of the code or something. So you code everything in JavaScript, and then you can deploy it to iOS and Android.
Otherwise, you do have to code to go with 2 code bases, right?
Yeah.
But then the question is,
there's no need to learn Swift then. You can just use React Native and you don't need to learn Swift to code it as a native.
100%.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's
plus
kind of like getting
pretty
popular, right? Because exactly of that, like the cost of maintaining 2 code bases, it's really high. But then the question is, why did you guys do usually people start with the web app, because it's, let's say, more cost efficient. You guys started quite bold, like let's deliver like the native applications, because then you have the entrance barrier. That's like one thing is people downloading it, the other things that people using it, activation, retention. Was it a conscious decision, or you didn't think about it? You just thought this product is intended to be, on the pocket of your user all the time. Tracking should be in a native app. What motivated you to that decision?
Yeah, so it was a couple of things. One, like the product, we just thought that it was meant to be a mobile app. Like if you go to the gym, you're not going to carry around your computer with you. And if you open a website for like a web app, it's going to be clunky. It's not going to be like the best experience compared to if it's just a native app. The second part of that is that we were both experienced. Well, Desmond is like extremely experienced in mobile app development. So it was also a no-brainer there. Like,
because you had someone in-house.
That's where our strengths are. This is what we've been working on. This is what we're really comfortable with, and the product is meant to be a mobile app. Fuck it, let's make a mobile app.
Yeah, it makes sense, because you're basically developing something that will require a lot of like mini interactions while you're doing the workout, and you reduce the friction of people opening the browser, typing the URL, and okay, cool. Any more questions, people? Go ahead. I have another one. Did you spend money when you launched the app? Did you do marketing? Like nothing. You just waited to see an organic growth.
Yeah. So we've both previously worked at companies before, Desmond and I, that were basically marketing machines. Like you pumped a bunch of money into search ads, Instagram ads, Facebook ads, whatever. And in the end, you'll be paying, like, let's say $2 for a user. So essentially what you're doing is like putting in a ton of money into these like marketing machines. And what ends up happening is you just get a funnel. Okay, how many people saw that ad? How many people clicked on that ad? How many people installed the app? How many people used the app? And how many people paid for the app? And then what happens is, like, you just end up creating a marketing machine. Your app is just a $1 in, like $2 out. You're just trying to make a profit machine. And that really comes at the expense of user experience. So what we wanted to really nail first, we wanted to do really well, is just the user experience. Like, are people going to use it? Like, are people going to stay with us for long periods of time? You know, is the app going to retain? And yeah, in the beginning, we just wanted to test the waters with the App Store and Google Play, and just see how many organic installs we'd be getting in both platforms.
Okay.
And the most important thing is like making a great product that people love and will tell their friends about it. If people do that, then it's going to grow by itself, because one, like they're going to rate it highly on the app stores, which is going to help you because you start ranking higher for some search terms. And then when you start ranking higher for some search terms, you get more downloads and more, and it grows into a big ball.
Yeah.
And then second part of that, like people will love it so much that they tell your friends, their friends. They're basically doing the acquisition for you, you know. Like this isn't applicable to every model. You know, a B2B SaaS company isn't going to have a high virality as a B2C mobile app. But that was our strategy, like make a great app that can go viral within like the little friend communities and kind of expand through social media that way.
So 75,000 users all acquired without spending a cent in marketing, at least.
We spent like $500 or something in this January, just because we wanted to start like testing the waters a bit and see how it works and the kind of results that we could have. And yeah, it was okay. Marketing is extremely expensive, especially for a cheap product like ours. And we would just be in losses if we were to actually scale this, because per user we generate less than what it would cost than the price that we pay for it to buy them.
So you have the majority of people. Yeah, you have a question from someone? Go ahead.
Sure, yeah. Talking about price, do you charge already some users? And if so, what is the strategy there? I guess it's freemium, but what would be the premium feature for paying?
Yeah, so we launched in July 2019, and until December 2019, it was completely free. Like, we were just building the whole experience for free. Everyone could just have like everything for free. And then starting January 2020, we released Hevy Pro, which means that Hevy Pro is a subscription which allows you to have the whole experience, to be able to create unlimited routines, to log unlimited measurements, unlimited history for your data that you log. So the strategy there was we want to have a long-lasting business that can be supported by the use of our customers. So a subscription model for us makes sense. The subscription model, the subscription now costs $3 a month or $24 a year. We intentionally made it super cheap, much cheaper than our competitors, because we're like the new app on the block, you know, and we need to have like all the reasons for people to use us. We're better, we're cheaper, we're faster, we have better features, all of that. So yeah, basically like in December 2020, we started charging a subscription. So it's been around a year and 3 months now. And yeah, to be honest, it wasn't the absolute best time to start a fitness app with COVID. All the gyms shutting down and stuff. But yeah, subscriptions have like stayed pretty stable. And now we have a sustainable business because of those subscriptions that keep renewing every month or renewing every year.
For the previous users, you are still keeping it free, or when they complete a year, you say, well, from now on you're gonna have to pay. So, or so you're doing it only for new users.
Yeah, basically, so only for new users. Okay. I mean, we said like up until that point, we only had about like 2,000 users. So we were kind of like internally debating like, I don't know, like, does it make sense to try to monetize these users, or should we just like put a line in the sand and like let these people have the pro experience forever, and then like the new users have them pay for it? And we were like, 2,000 users, like in a year, 2,000 users is going to be like insignificant, you know, like we shouldn't even be thinking about it. It creates so much technical complexity, and like the potential of like people getting mad for like previously having a free product and now you have to pay for it, and like fuck it, like just let them keep the pro experience, and then we'll just start charging from now on. And it was the good decision to do, I think.
But you still have a free plan, I guess.
Yeah. So the app is like completely usable for free, and if you want like a little more usability, then then you have to pay for it.
Yeah. And about your users, so 75,000, I think it's a lot. It's amazing already to get there, even though for such apps it might be low. Did you get any traction on any countries, or like is it worldwide? Is it especially in Spain because of the local networks that grows? Like where are your users?
So most of our users are in the US, and then around like probably more than 50% are from the US. Then like the rest, like 30% are from like Canada, UK, Australia, and then everything else is like just spread out all over the world. Like we're, I think, in pretty much every country now, but there's a lot of traffic in the US, and especially in English speaking countries. We've been translating the app we've translated to French, German, and Spanish. And in Spanish, we're doing really well, but in French and German, we're not. It could be because, well, it's definitely going to play a contributing factor that we got a big shout out from an influencer in Spain, and that kind of like made us jump in like the algorithm, you know. So we're ranking a lot higher for some search terms, and all of a sudden in Spain, like we're a lot bigger than we were before. But in France and Germany, for example, like that jump hasn't happened yet.
Awesome. So do you know how your users find you? Is this through the app stores?
Yeah.
What you were saying, there is like many other apps.
Yeah.
Is it through word of mouth?
It's a big part is definitely through the app store. The word of mouth part is very hard to track. Like what we can track is like how many people press share from the app, how many people press invite from the app, but then like seeing the link of,
Sure.
okay, how many people went to actually and convert it into an install, that's much harder to do. So we suspect that since it's a social product, we suspect that our word of mouth is an important like percentage of that acquisition, but we can't put a finger on it. And then we're also getting around 20% of our installs from SEO. So shout out to my brother who helped us with that. And yeah, we're
But
just
on
writing,
Google, SEO on Google or on the app stores?
on Google. So
Google.
we're writing a lot of really relevant content that people search for.
Okay.
And we have like relevant like calls to action to track your workout, download Hevy.
Okay. So you have a content marketing also
Yeah.
arm, like generating relevant content, very search engine optimized.
Yeah, definitely.
And then people are landing on your web page, downloading the app, and actually immediately getting activated, and there is retention on it, or you have also like,
yeah.
Who is writing the content? You guys?
The first article we wrote, me and my brother wrote it, and it was 8,000 words of just, it was crazy. It was a big article. But thanks to that article, like we started growing organically, and now we've been outsourcing with like some fitness coaches that do some
awesome.
content writing for us.
Great.
Yeah.
And so I understand you guys didn't raise funds yet, or haven't raised funds yet. Or do you have business angels, or you have like a first round, or no?
No. We've been completely bootstrapped.
Self-funded.
Yeah, we've been completely self-funded. We started taking a salary like only recently, like around 2 or 3 months ago. Up until then, we were kind of working, like living off our savings and freelancing a little bit on the side to just put food on the table.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, it's fully bootstrapped, and we intend to keep it that way for the foreseeable future. We think that it's going to give us a lot of flexibility in terms of how we want to run the business and scale the business. We didn't want to get into bed with a VC too soon, because they just make you grow too fast, too soon. It has to be a $100 million company or it's a failure, and maybe for us, a $1 million or $10 million company is enough.
Wow.
We'll see. We'll see what happens, but yeah,
it's looking good.
Yeah, it's looking good. We're happy being bootstrapped.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I like it because this is the, like the also quoting someone who says, like your best investors are your customers. Like if you have customers loving and using it, they will pay for it, and then because they start a bubble made a bit things a bit upside down, right? Like first you look for investors, then you look for customers. Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think now we're in a really unique position that that our customers are basically funding Hevy, and we have enough money to be able to pay ourselves a really small salary, and then with the extra money that we make, then we can either pay ourselves or reinvest into the company, reinvest into more products, better products, scaling into different things.
Of course.
So yeah. For now, we don't need VCs.
Yeah. That's awesome. Congrats. Do you have any more questions among you guys?
Yes. Okay.
Go, Mai.
Okay. So thanks for sharing. I heard a lot about commitment, about like a team sharing, who like is in charge of writing content or technical issues. So it's very important to have a good team, is it? And I would like to hear from you how the advices about choosing a good team and get them committed and maintain their commitment for the project.
Is your question about choosing the theme around the content marketing?
No, the
I'm
team,
sorry.
choosing people, like the right people to, and keep commitment with the team, the importance of having the right people
Yeah,
involved.
Okay.
I see.
Yeah, I think the less people you have in a team, the better.
So how many is ideal for a team, do you think?
The bare minimum, like whatever, if you can do it yourself and with one other person, do that.
I have a different point of view, but we can have one nice discussion about it. But of course, like, go ahead. Your experience is very valuable. So it's only you and your co-founder, basically, right now.
So far it's just us, and we've had a couple of people like come in for a small amount of time to help out with a thing or two. But yeah, I think that co-founders are really like, you have to choose them really wisely, because you're basically getting into a relationship with them. Like it's a work relationship, it's a personal relationship. You need to be able to like handle that like very respectfully, you know, and people need to be like extremely hard workers. If you're both extremely hard workers and can commit to this for a certain period of time to like prove the MVP and like pursue it, and you can be respectful to each other in like those really hard, like really tense moments, I think that's the most important thing. The problem with having like 3, 4, 5, 6 co-founders afterwards is that everyone has an opinion, and it's really hard to like build a product by like democratizing how decisions. To build that product, you know, like democratizing the decisions. Not always is the decision that not always is the popular vote going to be the right decision to pursue. So I just think that with less people, there's less people problems, and yeah, if you can work efficiently, then yeah, that's my recommendation.
But then in terms of co-founders, I think I fully agree with you. So what do you think it's best, like, because there are some values that need to be shared by both of you, but at the same time you have to have complementary skills, right? Not to basically like just be stepping into each other's area. So how did you meet your co-founder? And you know, is it a personal friend? Is like someone from your environment?
So we worked together at our previous company called 8fit, and I was a product manager and he was a software engineer. So it was just like perfect fit, you know, like I do the design and like product work, and he does the tech work, front end, back end, everything. Like he's just like the perfect fit of a co-founder to me. I think we got extremely lucky, and like not everyone is going to be able to find like these fits that go so well together. But yeah, I think it'd be really wise to pick co-founders with like complementary skills, so that you can become like really well-rounded. If there's 2 people that are product people, like 2 designers, then at least one of them is going to have to learn how to code. Either that or hire a developer to build the product for you. But then that's going to be really expensive, and you're going to raise a bunch of money to like prove the idea. Like it's all going backwards. So I think the important thing is to find people that you complement each other with, that you align on the vision of this like product, and yeah.
But if you eventually you have to if I can complement your question.
No, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
I'm
ahead.
thinking about like co-founders is one thing,
Yeah.
but what about building a team? Because if you want to actually achieve the goals you guys have, to make an impact in this field, you're probably gonna have to have maybe somebody onboarded in the short or mid-term. I'm not sure if you have experience managing or hiring people, but what are your take into this part, like having somebody involved with you?
So I'm probably not the best person to be giving opinions on this, just because so far it's only been me and Desmond working on Hevy. But like for me, like the approach would be similar. Like, what is the minimum that we need to make this happen? So like if we really want to step up our growth, like do we really need like 10 people on a growth team? Or if we can somehow find like a growth superstar and just have that one person, do we just hire that person, or can we outsource this in a cheaper way? We don't have to hire someone, maybe get someone on Fiverr to work with us for a little bit, or on Upwork or something like that.
Freelance networks, so getting somebody that's not on a full-time employee, and then if it works, make it more serious.
And I think it also has to come with like a cost benefit analysis, like the other day we were analyzing, okay, does it make sense for us to spend more money writing more content? And we realized that if we spend money on content, it's going to pay itself in like 1 or 2 months. So really, like, absolutely, like that, it makes sense. So mathematically, like if we write more content equals more money. If you hire a growth person, what's the perceived percentage growth that you think that person can achieve? If you hire a developer, how much faster, how much more reliable is your service going to be? Is your product development going to be? But yeah, that's kind of like my thinking around that. I don't think these ideas will change as we go forward and we build out a team. They really have to be essential to the team.
But this is interesting. You're making me think about also another saying in the startup world that says, like the team of founders who are willing to bootstrap and make a business, bring it to life, are usually not the ones who end up like when the business is really scaled up, because they are not interested in that part. They are interested in actually bring the innovation, make it happen, bring a critical mass and in the dream, more than like in managing a big corporation. I don't know if you agree with that, or if you feel that's a bit like this case with you.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely on that side. Like I enjoy a lot more like creating products and like designing and kind of like innovating in this space than managing people. I don't think I'd be a good CEO for managing a team of 100 or 1,000 people. That I don't think that would be my thing.
Yeah, that's definitely a full-time job.
And definitely, when the more people you have, the least productivity you have. It's like it's like if you're only 2, it's super productive, super efficient, and then you start to manage. You have like for some time you do less with 4 engineers than 1 or 2.
Yeah, that was kind of our goal, to stay like as lean as possible in all senses, like lean as possible in technology, lean as possible with team, lean as possible with like the infrastructure of the company, like everything is like with a mindset of like being lean, no overhead, no stress, no worries, and being as efficient as we can.
Cool.
Okay, thank you. Can I have one more question about this thing? Did you have like a plan since you had the first thought to develop this app or something, or just go with the flow or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of had an idea of the steps that were necessary. So we knew that one, like we needed to brainstorm the idea. 2, we needed to like get some feedback on the idea from like close friends and run a survey or whatever. We needed to see how this idea would look like, what an MVP could be, and then build it and launch it. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Thanks.
And in terms of maintaining the app, are you working like with sprints and you have features you have already in the roadmap that you like to implement? Like, are you using Scrum, Agile? We're gonna see here this project management techniques over the next weeks on the bootcamp, but can you advance something to us?
Yeah, so we use Trello as our task management.
Trello.
Yeah,
okay.
Trello. And since we're 2 people, like we don't really need to use Scrum or Kanban or anything. Like we just have columns for each release that we want to ship.
Yeah.
As time passes, we ship cards, and when that release is over, we ship it, and that's it. Like we don't really focus on like agile methodologies. That stuff kind of comes later when you have like a bigger team and you need to like motivate everyone and kind of keep everyone accountable for meeting deadlines. But since it's 2 people, there's no deadlines. It's super chill.
Oh, got you. Yeah, I don't know if everybody knows Trello. It's basically a project management tool where it's more visual. So instead of working with an Excel sheet, you have like cards that you can drag and drop and move it in the funnel according to the progress you're making. We're gonna see this also when we start the Airbnb week next week.
That was super important.
Any final question from the crowd?
I do have a few questions.
Go ahead, Steffi. Hi.
I have 3 questions in the technical side. So the first one would be, what language do you use for the backend? I guess it would be JavaScript, but do you use Node.js or?
Yeah, it's Node.js.
Node.js. And what kind of data structure of the database do you use? Is it relational? No, you don't know. Okay. And the third,
I think it's knowing Desmond, I think he went as like simple as possible, like just normal database. I can't elaborate more on that, but as simple as possible.
All right. Okay. Thanks.
There was a third one.
Oh, no. Actually, there is another question, but I don't know if it's well, it's regarding the security. How do you secure your app?
Can't help you.
All right. Okay, that's fine.
You'd have to ask Desmond about this.
Let's ask Desmond and maybe if he can share some things. Cool.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Sefi. I want to ask, like, usually this is the typical question that we do at the end of a nice chat. Like, first of all, like, you've been involved a lot, and I guess that being an entrepreneur, like, it's really giving it all. Like, there is no work-life balance. What do you think are the 3 main qualities you believe you have to keep or develop to be, to be happy on what you're doing and keep like a positive personal and professional lifestyle? So to be an entrepreneur nowadays and to make it happen the way you'd like to, maybe 3 things you believe that are, essential for you.
I work really well in sprints. So like if I know that during this week or during 2 weeks or maybe like even 2 hours, I'm going to be like fully focused on something and I can like give it my all. I know that at the end of that sprint, like I'll have like some time off to relax and I'll have like the ability to just like unwind a bit, because you do need that like deep work hours. You do need like the really hard work and hustle for a lot of weeks and a lot of months, but it kind of helps to like compartmentalize it so that it's not just like every day for like 6 months, like 17-hour days. Like that's just unsustainable and you're going to burn out. But if it's like in short sprints, that really helps. I think the second thing is something that like software kind of helps us quite a lot in, and it's the fact of like incremental change. The fact that we're working on software, you can ship something and then like that's done, and then you iterate on it and you increase it and you improve it and you improve it and you improve it. So it helps so much to be able to iterate on things when you think of like perseverance. If you have to, let's say you're working on an information product, for example, or that you have to like record an entire like YouTube series. If you want to redo that, you have to redo the entire like 12 hours of the YouTube series, you know. But the fact that we're working on software products, you can just like incrementally improve it. Then that over time will cause like really big like compounding gains. Like just improving 1% a day will go a really long way. And I don't know if I have
adding value incrementally, right? Like
yeah,
you have a base and
yeah, and you don't have to like go all out always, you know, like even just like small improvements are really noticed by your users and can help solve a lot of like user problems that people are experiencing. It's just the fact of like being consistent and like iterating, listening to users, improving.
And do you have a third one?
Just with the kind of philosophy you're describing, like being super lean and not raising money, you can totally have a great work-life balance, like unless financial problems. But
yeah, I don't know if I can think of a third one right now. I don't want to give some corny
come on,
don't give up. I'm not gonna do it.
Okay, that's fine.
With the question.
Yes, go ahead.
You talk about user review and how do you improve based on that. So how did you collect the users' inputs on that? Is like a feature in the app? Is on Google reviews, on iOS?
Yeah. So we make it super easy for people to submit their feedback to us. So every time we ask for a rating in the app, like if they don't enjoy the app, then we ask them, why didn't you enjoy it? Like, how can we improve it? And it's also in settings, so you can, even if we don't ask you, you can go into settings and like literally just tell us, hey, I want a better rest timer, or I want better routines, or this is broken. And having that like super easy dialogue with your users is super important, because then they're literally building the product for you.
Yep, pretty much.
Thanks.
So thank you very, very much, Guillem.
I have a last question. That's okay.
Yeah. Hey, Jama. No, you
What's
cannot.
Up, guys?
You're late.
Guys, I really like that haircut. Hey, you look so good.
Thank you.
But yeah, I wanted to ask how talented you think you are as a front-end developer. Thank you very much.
Oh, as a front-end developer, like I was saying before you arrived, because you were here late.
Don't lie to the people. Don't lie to them.
I just learn what I need to learn. Like I don't have like a really good like theoretical knowledge, you know, about it, but like styling and like building components and all that, I'm pretty comfortable with.
Perfect. Cool. So with this bombshell, I have to say thank you very much once again. And it was really insightful. I hope everybody enjoyed. Thank you, everybody, for participating.
Yeah,
and keep it up. Long life to Hevy.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Adios.
Go download Hevy.
Thank you.
Yes, let's download Hevy, people. Come on.
See you.
Ciao.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Adios.